Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. My name is Joanne and I am your host today. We have an amazing guest. She had massive growth fairly quickly with launching her side hustle to her other online business that we're going to talk about as well. We're going to dive into all the things today. So without further ado, let's welcome Nicole to the show. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, Joanne.
How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So I know our title says 50,000 followers in 30 days. You're a health coach. We have a lot going on, but give us your backstory. First, before you found us, you had an online business already, right?
I did.
So how did you, let's go way back.
Oh boy.
How did you dive first into that and move online?
Really it was because I had my son. I actually had no intention on quitting my job. I loved working. I worked in education for 15 years and I loved it. I had my son. I went back for 2 weeks and was like, nope, can't do this. Don't want to leave him. So we found a way for me to be home. And then I kind of decided, well, I need to do something. And so I kind of got into the idea of health coaching, life coaching, etc. Fell in love with it. And the rest is kind of history. I ended up doing like a ton of certifications. I'm master certified. That's pretty much it, honestly.
I love it. And you were online with an online business before it was cool, right? Before everyone was forced in the online space, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think 2020 absolutely changed everything. But yeah. Oh yeah. I'd been doing it. I think I've had my business for about just under 5 years now.
So you've already had that experience. You kind of worked through figuring out how to show up online, how to show up for your clients a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've always struggled with the social media presence. It's just never been my forte at all. But as far as like the, talking back and forth via webcam, yeah, that's not a piece of cake now.
Right. So then how did you fall into finding Legendary?
So very, very long story short, my husband was diagnosed with cancer last summer, and that just threw us for a loop. And I didn't have the mental capacity to continue coaching. It just wasn't fair to my clients. I wasn't in the right headspace to be able to do it and take care of him, take care of the kids, take care of the house, etc. So we spent everything that we had on his treatment because we decided to kind of go a non-traditional route in terms of treatment. So we spent everything we had and then some. I mean, racked up the credit cards, like everything. And he's doing great, by the way, so he's fine. But so we did all of his treatment, and then a couple months later, his job stopped paying him. And that's another story, but his job stopped paying him. So we spent everything already, and then we had no income whatsoever. And I still was not in the right headspace to be coaching again, to pick back up my business. And that kind of led me to searching online for how to make money online without taking time away from my family. And I started seeing posts and reels and all the things. And I was like, super skeptical. And I actually looked into drop shipping as well. I ended up, but yeah, that's how I ended up with Legendary.
I love it. So how long were you seeing stuff about the course before you took action? Because you said you were skeptical. So what helped you move through that?
Okay. So I probably watched on the side for 2 months, probably 2 months. And Becca is who I followed mostly, and Becca and Caroline. And one day I was convinced that Becca was a bot. Like, I was like, there's no way that this is real. I was convinced that she was a bot. And one day my husband was like, well, why don't you just like reach out to her? This was after I'd already started the 7-day challenge or the $7 challenge, because I was like, $7, like whatever, it's not a huge deal.
Right.
And then my husband said, why don't you reach out to her, see if she replies? And she sent me a voice message back. And I was like, what? And then he's like, well, why don't you try and get her, on a Zoom call or something? And she totally did, no problem. And that's when I was like, all right, she's human. Let's do this.
It's not a fake AI character.
I don't know. I really thought she was a bot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
I love that it was the skepticism was so deep that you thought it was a fake person.
Yes.
There still had to be somebody creating all the content, right?
That's what made sense in my head. I couldn't correlate like somebody making that much money and working such short hours and in such a short amount of time. Like it just didn't, compute. So the only like acceptable, reasonable explanation was that she's a bot. Oh gosh.
Oh,
nope, she's not.
She spoke at our virtual mastermind. She's going to be a guest on the 23rd here. So I'll have to, I'm going to mention to her about the bot.
She knows. Yeah. We talk occasionally still. Yeah. That story cracks her up.
Obviously results are not typical. We don't promise. There's no guarantees. Everyone's on their own journey. Becca definitely has had some phenomenal results that she's very open about. But I mean, she really has worked.
She has
her booty off.
Yes.
And not to say someone else doesn't, but she definitely has. It wasn't handed to her. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But back to you. So you went all in, you talked with Becca. How did it go then as far as implementing and learning?
So talking with Becca was exactly what I needed to say yes to purchasing the blueprints. Okay. So I did, and I dove head first. I told my husband, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it exactly how they say to do. And just literally just no nonsense of, well, I think this could be better. Cause I do tend to do that. So I dove head first. And I went straight to, there's a training actually in the affiliate section for how to grow as fast as you can, essentially on TikTok, like with the whole.
The best way to do it. If you're in Blueprints, obviously we have each different social media platform, but pick the one that you want to focus on first.
Yeah, exactly.
And do that one.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, that's what I did. And actually prior to even doing that, I got all the back end stuff set up first. So I guess technically TikTok was not the first section. Right. But yeah, once the back end stuff was all set up, I just dove in with TikTok, and the rest is history, I guess.
I love it. So there wasn't, was there fear involved? Did you hesitate?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How did you step into that and still take action? Because so many people feel the fear and they stop, they freeze.
Yeah. I think that's where my background with coaching really came into play, because I'm very used to like self-coaching through, okay, I recognize that I'm afraid of, X, Y, and Z or whatever. So how do we push past that? And then also too, there was an aspect of, I came into this with the mindset of this has to work. Like there's no other option. This has to work. I refuse to go, get a job outside of the house. I really still didn't want to go back into coaching quite yet. Failure was not an option, period. It wasn't. Giving up was not an option. And so there just was no, my husband and I were talking about this the other day. We were thinking like, okay, it's uncomfortable to be in the position that we were in. It's uncomfortable to learn something new and start a new career. Which uncomfortable do you want to be in? So really it was just the idea of, okay.
Your challenge, right? Do you want to have a challenge? It's like choose your challenge. Which challenge do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do we want to stay in our current position of, being broke and no income, et cetera? Or do we want to do something about it and be uncomfortable and learn something new and be on social media very presently when I'm not used to it? That's very uncomfortable still. But again, I'm choosing that uncomfortability over, the other option.
Right. Because both you're going to be uncomfortable with.
Period.
But
yeah.
One keeps you stuck and one gives you options.
Exactly.
at least,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gives you
Exactly.
opportunity.
Yes.
Where one
Yeah.
there is no opportunity, it's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
What a
we chose that way.
story. What a story. I love it. And it just, you didn't question anything. I know I don't recommend, we don't sit here and promote burn all the boats and go, go quit your job on day 2 of the challenge. Don't do that, obviously.
No, don't.
But you were in a state where you felt pushed against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You felt
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
was
We didn't have any other
your
options.
last resort. This was it.
Yeah. We literally put the blueprints on our very last credit card that had any sort of availability, that we were kind of saving that one for, like, God forbid, tires or something like that. And we put the blueprints on that. We went all in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here we are.
But it's worked out. So
yeah. And that wasn't too long ago. When did you join the challenge?
6 weeks. No, that's not true. The challenge I joined sometime in December. I can't quite remember when. And then I actually launched on January 31st, started posting content, etc. So it was 6 weeks yesterday.
6 weeks. How quickly things change.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you go all in. How many times do you post a day?
At least once, at very minimum once. So I'm shadow banned right now on TikTok. So that sucks. But I've been trying to go live on there, trying to post 3 times a day on there to help remove that. I don't know if it's actually working, but doing what I can. But it's been kind of nice because it's allowed me to really focus on Instagram, and that is growing quickly as well. So that's nice. But anywhere at least once, sometimes up to 3 times a day.
Do you enjoy going live? Do you find it easy for you? Because you
No,
not at all.
It's terrifying.
Okay.
So
walk us through your very first live and the process you went through in your head before you hit live.
So, okay, it was just a couple of days ago, actually. And I had been telling people, my husband and the people, Legendary has such an amazing community. I have made so many online friends in the last 6 weeks. And we have I have a couple of them that we go back and forth almost daily. Anyway, I had been talking to them about I need to go live. I should do, all the things, and everybody's supportive, and I just didn't do it because, I was busy and things kept getting in the way. And really,
yes, that is the number one excuse for anything. I'm busy.
Yep. Yes, I was totally making excuses. So then one day my husband took the kids out of the house in the afternoon so that I could do some work. And I was like, the house is literally to myself right now. I'm just going to do it. I had zero plan. I had no topic, nothing in mind. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I did it. And it was terrifying, but it was actually a lot of fun. I got to talk to some awesome people, and it was a really good way to redirect people from TikTok to my Instagram. So once I realized that, plus it's not as terrifying as your mind makes it out to be. Still a little scary, but it's not that deadly, I can't do it anymore.
How long were you live for on your first one?
I think about 19 minutes.
Okay. Right? No, I love that. I think it's important for people to hear that, because that's one of the scary things that some people, they want to do, but they don't want to do, and they think they got to fill 2 hours. And it's no, just go live for what you can handle in that moment.
Yes. And I literally sat there with no topic, no anything. And I remember saying at least one time, well, this is awkward. You're just staring at my face. I have nothing to say. Oh, it was good though.
Real, right?
I'm sorry.
You kept it real, authentic. Yes. That's how you were feeling in the moment. So you shared it.
Exactly. And now it's not, it's still a little scary, but it's definitely easier.
Right. And you're still just starting out. It's still such a new business.
Yes. I still have a long ways to go. Yeah. And a lot to learn.
There's a lot of scary things you've already gone through, but and you're going to go through more, but it's just part of it. And it's kind of cool because you realize, man, I'm even stronger than I thought I was. I'm pretty badass, right? As you step through more things.
Yes. I tell my daughter all the time, you can do hard things. And I keep like kind of telling myself that, like, you can do hard things. You can do hard things.
Yeah, totally. How old are your kids?
I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. She's definitely at the age where she can start connecting those dots a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's good for her to hear those things.
Yeah.
Both of them, really. Everybody.
All right. So now we're growing on Instagram, slowly but surely, but we're doing it, and you're seeing some steam happen there. It's catching up. What have you seen early on, the biggest difference between the two platforms?
Instagram is more, I feel like it's more a place where you can actually like connect with people. I like that you can post stories and it kind of, feels somewhat live, and you get to see a glimpse into people's lives, like their real life, not just work life or whatever you see on Reels. To me, it's easier to communicate on Instagram. I love Instagram DM. I get tons of people sending me questions and stuff all the time, and it's very easy to not miss them in Instagram. Whereas TikTok, I have no idea still what I'm doing with TikTok, like zero clue. I didn't even have TikTok on my phone prior to starting to post content. Like I have no clue what I'm doing with TikTok. I don't know how, I don't get notifications when people like comment on my videos and stuff. So I like miss them unless I go back and look through them, which I'm not going to at some point because there's too many.
Right.
So it to me, I don't know. I like that things are more personable in Instagram than on TikTok. And people on TikTok can be kind of mean.
Yeah, they can. You got to grow that thick skin a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And people just go on there just to troll for fun.
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well.
It's just part of it.
What can you do?
Yeah. It's just part of it. You got to ignore them. Like yesterday's guest said, if you're going to listen to and react and respond to the eye rollers, you might as well hand them the pin to your bank account. Right.
Agreed. Yeah, that's what I keep saying. I'm like, other people's opinions are not going to pay my bills. So whatever.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, Instagram is definitely more synergy of using posts and reels and stories to really build that following and that connection. And you're right. And then people go into the DMs a lot. You just don't DM a ton on TikTok. It's not the natural thing to do on that platform, but it is more natural on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. And people aren't going to work with you if they don't have that like know, like, and trust factor. And so that's again what I like about, you're able to build that so much easier on Instagram than on TikTok.
Yeah, definitely. So you've taken a break from being a health coach. Do you feel like at some point, from the knowledge you've gained even from this, if you chose to go back into that, you would be in a different position, or you would do it differently as far as marketing?
Probably. I probably would utilize TikTok just because it's an easier way to like spread the message fast. But I don't know if I would actually go back to it at this point. I'm kind of falling in love with the idea of helping people bring in more money. I mean, especially with this day and age and, inflation and all the things, it's needed now more than ever. And so I'm kind of really loving the idea of maybe moving into coaching into this sort of like area, I guess, of, because there's a lot of mindset that has to go into being successful in this sort of,
you have life coach training and man.
Yeah, there's a lot. And so yeah, so I could see me moving into more of this realm for coaching. My husband and I were talking about that as well. Is there's so much that's needed mindset wise in order to succeed in this sort of, career path. So I see that there's a need there, and I'm like, maybe one day we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Get this, rolling, established, see what life looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and then see how you feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, there's no need to decide on anything right this minute. In the meantime, I'm just helping as much as I can.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. But man, that mindset piece, it's the one thing people overlook or don't want to address.
Yeah, I think it's more of that.
and they don't, but then are so upset and frustrated. Why is my business not growing? But until you address what's going on between your ears, that's your roadblock. A lot of times that's the roadblock.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially when it's coming from that place of fear. And I think people just let that kind of be like the dictating piece of how they live their life, instead of really taking a look at like, okay, because I think most of the time too, like that fear is illogical. We just don't even realize it until we stop to really look at like, what are we actually afraid, or what am I actually afraid of? And when you do that, you realize like, why am I actually afraid of, like, for me going live, for instance, I was just afraid of like other people's opinions and what they're going to think, and all, looking like an idiot and sounding like an idiot. And I'm like, well, I mean, I tend to like jumble over my words anyways in real life, so might as well just do it online. Like, you know what I mean? There's just such an illogical fear there that just didn't make any sense when I really stopped to think about it. And it's like, okay, so just go, just do it.
Maybe it's this, going back to this idea of I have to be perfect. I have to show up perfect. I know yesterday in one of our live coaching calls with Blueprints, one of the concerns shared was, what if I get asked a question I don't know the answer to while I'm live? And it was like, well, one, you don't have to answer it. You choose what you answer. Just because somebody asked it doesn't mean you have to answer it.
Yeah.
Second, now you know something to go find an answer to continue your growth, your knowledge, your journey. And three, if you want to answer it and don't know, you can be like, you know what? I'm going to find out, and I will have the answer for you on tomorrow's live. Yeah. Or shoot me a DM with that question and I will get back to you, and start the conversation in there instead. There's always a different way to handle it, instead of like, oh my gosh, I don't know the answer. I'm a failure. I'm never going live again. I can't post content, and being done and quitting. Right. Yes. And I think that's kind of the process that goes through people's head. In a matter of 30 seconds, they're done. They're out. Because
I totally agree.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, say that last thing again.
So what's your advice to step through that? As somebody that has more experience, is a life coach, helps people with mindset who are just frozen in fear and can't take action.
I would say really get honest with yourself about, and very specific about what you are afraid of. Write it down. Actually, really write it down, especially because, like I said, usually like there's an irrational, illogical fear. So being able to see it on paper, you're like, oh, that's actually not real. Really, but just get honest with yourself about like what it is that you're afraid of, why you're afraid of it, and look at the alternative of not taking action, and decide which one you want to lead your life, I guess.
Right. And really kind of sit in that.
Yeah.
And really, I think it takes a moment of being really honest with yourself.
Yeah. And I think too, there's an acceptance piece, like a self-acceptance piece of like, back to kind of what you were saying about, I need to be perfect or whatever. Like, allow yourself to not be perfect. That's one of the things I love about Legendary. And Dave is so big on like, just come as you are. Like, show up in pajamas, show up in sweats. Like, you don't have to be perfect. I love that so much. To me, that's so freeing. And so to give yourself permission for that to be okay.
Right. Nobody needs to go put on a suit and tie and, like a formal jacket and hop online. Yeah. People would look like, what's this chick doing? Right.
Yeah.
More like you would almost come off as fake then. You might be seen as a bot then. Right?
Right. I mean, if that's how you dress normally, then like more power to you. But I know
Right?
I live in East, so
Right? Unless that's who you are and that's the type
right.
of crowd you want to attract, then do
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah.
But don't be a character in a play.
Mm-hmm. People
This
are
is
going to
not
see
a
through
play.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to see through that.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, definitely. Have fun is in the comments. Marie,
Yes.
I got you, girl. Have fun. Have fun. You got to have fun. What a cool thing. You're starting your own business. You're stepping into a role of CEO, entrepreneur, the main boss. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. You're in charge. You make the decisions. That is so freaking awesome.
Yeah, let it be exciting.
Right? Step in, put on that hat, own it, embrace it, and love it, and really like breathe in what that truly means.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And I think with that too, like absolutely have fun with it. Allow it to be exciting, but also know that struggles are going to happen. There's going to be fires that you have to put out. There's going to be things that you're going to have to like learn and get over. It's not going to be perfect again.
Right.
But let it be fun. Let it be exciting and terrifying.
And it goes back to what we spoke earlier, but pick your struggle. You can struggle in a 9-to-5 you hate with a boss you can't stand, who's not giving you time off or whatever is going on. Or you're going to wake up and go, I'm going to tackle this roadblock for my own business today. Which struggle do you want?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's just having, first of all, really taking ownership of what path you're stepping onto and just going for it and embracing it along the way. Yeah. Nothing is easy, James. That's right. Nothing's easy. So pick which way you want to go. This is simple. This is simpler even than being a health coach, right? We're not dealing with customers support and building out a course. You're just you're recommending products if you're on the affiliate marketing side, right? There's more involved even as an online coach that some people forget about. So it's simpler, but it's not necessarily, nothing's easy, but anyone can learn.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is a whole new ball game for me, but it's kind of a breath of fresh air because it is allowing me to have that like freed up mind space, so to speak, where I'm not, in other people's heads all the time. But there is still that like there was a lot for me to learn, and there's still a lot for me to learn. But I'm gonna choose that. I love it.
And I mean, you've been through a lot. It's been a year. It's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year.
Sometimes our mental capacity just needs a change to keep stepping forward. And I love that you found that change. You found what you needed for your own mental protection, right? Because it takes a lot to coach other people.
It does. I love it, but it's draining.
It's very draining, right? Especially when you're coaching on mindset and life and decisions, and that's heavy stuff. And if you're doing that daily while still dealing with pretty heavy stuff at home with your husband, and I think this becomes a great outlet to where it's not as much weight on your shoulders day to day.
Yeah, exactly. And I still knew that I was doing something like to propel us forward. And then I've also found that in helping other people, and even just in, Instagram DMs, like it's still that like fulfilling piece that I love, but still without taking the, mental bandwidth.
Right. Yeah.
Best of all the world.
Yep. So it sounds like your husband has been very supportive from the get-go. Was he skeptical with you about the bond issue?
No.
Or walk us through that piece of when did you tell him? And what did he say about it?
He is amazing. He supports anything I want to do. He's amazing. So let's see, going back to when I started kind of looking into all this, I didn't even tell him I was looking into anything because I didn't want him to think like, oh geez, here goes Nicole again, trying to figure something else out. Like, which he would never think that ever, but there was, my own fear there.
Right.
So I didn't even say a word to him. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but we used to share an office. And I had it written down somewhere or pulled up. Maybe it was my research pulled up on the computer screen, and he walked over to my desk and he was like, oh, what's this? And apparently he had been looking into stuff like this too. Oh. And so I finally told him about it. And that's when he was like, yes, it's $7. Why are you just sitting here not doing it? Do it. Right. So yeah, super supportive right from the get-go. And then actually after he watched my first 30 days or whatever, he was like, this is insane. And so he has now jumped in with me.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
He's finishing up the 15 days right now. Okay. And I'm the one getting all of his back end stuff set up right now, and it's just about ready to go. But yeah, he's jumping in with this.
Oh, that is so cool. Okay. Yeah. So now we have like a part 2 already in the works for your second interview that you could come on with your husband, maybe.
He'd love that.
So do you think, so we have other couples in our community. Mm-hmm. Some are all in to where they're both on camera together. Some are completely separate with separate accounts. Some are where one partner does all of the behind the scenes stuff and one is on camera. How do you think this will evolve between the two of you?
He is dead set. He's hilarious, but like bad dad joke type hilarious. And he is so excited about like doing the bad dad stuff or bad dad joke type stuff. And I'm like, we'll see. Oh gosh, he's funny. But I could see us doing like a little mixture of both of us on camera, but then also, having our own separate thing, but like kind of like intermingling them occasionally. I likely that's probably how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
We have that too. There's a couple couples, they have 3 or 4 channels where they have one where they're all together in all the content. Uh-huh. Then they each have a separate account, and then they have a 4th where it mixes.
Cute. Yeah, he wants to have 3 accounts. He wants one for us together, and then each of us to have our own thing.
I mean, your husband could have a whole bad, like, dad joke channel, right? And tie in, drop little pieces, right? There could be a lot of fun with that. You got to get creative when you're online.
Yes. Yeah.
And different ways to be social.
Oh, and he's totally the social one out of the 2 of us. He will talk your ear off nonstop. He's built for this. He's totally built for this.
Yeah, totally. Let me because people are asking where they can find you. Right here, Passive Mommy Income. So it's on the screen for you guys because we got some people in the comments asking where to find you at. So let me pop that up there. But wow, I love that also he's going through the challenge. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, moving through it himself and really like, is this something I want to do? And so he can make that decision for himself as he's going through that, which I think is really cool between the 2 of you. Instead of like, hey, hop in, you're just going to help. I'm going to throw you into the fire. You're going to do this with me and it's going to be amazing. You're letting him walk through those steps of really seeing it. And I love that. Very cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Wow. It's been a heck of a 6 weeks, Nicole.
I know.
Wild. And you're still going, which is what's beautiful about it. It's just such the beginning stages. And I'm so excited to see where this takes you and then over the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. There's such potential, and it's like I said, I'm just falling in love with the whole community is incredible. I love how Dave is such a big part of all of this. I just love it. I just love it, and there's just so much more that I can't wait to get to.
And it just is stepping into, I'm going to take action every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Like there's, like posting at least one post today. English, posting at least my phone and watch are like going off right now. That's hilarious. Thanks, guys. What was I saying? Yeah, like non-negotiables, like making sure that you have non-negotiables in place that happen every single day, and just making sure that they get done and putting it as a priority. Like you can either have this, like treat this like a business, or you can treat it like a hobby, and it's not going to get you probably where you want to go if you're treating it as a hobby. So
Right.
own it. If you're going to do it, own it.
Yeah. If you just, dip that toe in, it's going to take a lot longer for anything to really happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So knowing you were a little skeptical before starting the challenge, I want to leave you with the last words to share with anybody that's watching that is either just starting out on the challenge and scared to hop on the Zoom call, scared to get the next few days unlocked, right? Scared to hasn't even watched day 2 or 3 of the video.
Yeah.
What's your piece of advice for somebody that's just right in those early stages?
I think really going back to what we were saying about, choosing where you want to live, which, look at why you started in the first place. Clearly there is a reason why you chose to start the challenge, and getting, not familiar, getting like looking at that from what did you want out of it, and choosing which comfortable or uncomfortable really you want to live in, and reminding yourself of that regularly. Like when I wanted to stop and be like, no, this is too scary. Like, okay, well, I can stop, sure. Or I can go back to, having literally no income or push past. Anyway, all that to say is choose which comfortable or uncomfortable you want to live in. Choose which hard you want to live in.
Right. Because stopping is making a choice.
Yes. Oh, absolutely it is. Or not doing anything at all is also making a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not saying like the challenge is a great way for you to gain all the information you need to then make another choice. Is this something I want to do?
Yes.
Or do I want to do something else?
Yes, that's right? Exactly what I tell people. I'm like,
how do I feel about this business and about learning this knowledge? That's
right. Exactly.
About the challenge.
Yes, that's what I tell people. I'm like, forego one Starbucks drink or one, meal or whatever. And see if this is something that you're even interested in, because it's going to give you enough information to make an educated decision. And if you decide you don't want to do it, okay, no harm, no foul. $7, like not a big deal.
Right.
And if it is, oh my gosh, it can change your life.
Right. Yeah. But either way, get informed.
Yes. Yes. And don't make a decision just based off of, the people who call it a scam, because it is not. I checked with Becca.
Rich Rebecca was real. I love it. All right. So you definitely need to come back. I want updates because you are amazing.
Thank you.
Maybe we need to meet for coffee because I saw you're in Reno.
Are you local?
I am, and we're such a small town.
How ironic. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That would be amazing.
Yeah, but you need to come back on with Dave, meet him, and if your husband is still involved in growing a business with you, bring him along as well. We would love to have you back for updates for sure.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And just, man, thank you for being such a positive member of our community. I see you in the groups, and I just, you just exemplify everything we hope in all of our members. So
thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for creating such an amazing community. I love this community.
Lisa, Becca is real. She's like, wait, Becca isn't real? Becca is definitely real. Go back and watch the replay.
Yeah.
Nicole was a little skeptical and was like, Becca can't be real. And actually reached out, and Becca responded, and it was confirmed she is a real person. So it was just her moving through all of that. I love it. All right, guys. thank you, Nicole, for coming on. You can find Nicole on TikTok and Instagram at passive_mommy_income. Both TikTok and Instagram are the same, passive_mommy_income. So go give her a follow, check out her content, comment, let her know you saw her on Wake Up Legendary. I know she would love to connect with you further and all of that good stuff. And thanks, Nicole, for just a great interview. And you need to come back.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. What a great interview. If you missed any of that, please go back and watch the replay. Dave is back tomorrow with another amazing guest. We are going to get out of here, go dive into your education, hop on social, take action somehow, some way today to move your education, your knowledge, and your business forward. Peace.